Dave Coverdale of Deep Purple visiting with us at WMMR. I'm Michael Tierson, if you were wondering. If you weren't wondering, I'm still Michael Tierson, and he's still David Coverdale. The new one seems to have a different genesis of people doing it.
It's a lot fresher, I think.
Yeah, I was quite surprised to see how much Tommy had helped write the songs. That was quite an interesting surprise to me.
Well, it's like, with a fresh, like Glenn and I were given a lot of ground for the Burn album, with us coming in to make it fresher, That's the reason the band changed.
This seems to be less of a whole group composition than they'd had before. And
yeah, well, everyone contributes, like Ian Pace who like isn't really a writer, but the sound and the ideas he generates, and particularly the rhythm, which
I guess similarly John Lord on this record, because he didn't.
This is one of the finest things I've heard John do on his playing. This Time Around, I think, is one of the most superb songs I've ever heard. And everything on it is like played by John, other than the vocals.
That Hendrix song, Come Down Hard on Me, you saying you had hoped the band might cut a version of.
Yeah, I love Hendrix, and that song's one of the best I've heard, but it was like done at a time when he was a bit out of it, from what I gather.
And obviously all the tapes were finished up later.
Yeah, the whole, the idea of this song is terrific, and I wanted us to cut a version of it, not particularly for an album, but say for a B-side of a single or something, just because I got off on the song, and I think we could have interpreted, the song pretty well.
Purple hasn't really done any amount of covering anything. They've really wrought all the stuff for the last forever long I can remember.
Yeah,
it's been a change.
Fortunately, well, I think we can come up with it. We can write some good stuff. I'd like to see some other artists cover some of the songs and treat them differently, because we treat them the way Purple would, obviously. There's a lot of songs we do, particularly there's Stormbringer again. There's a lot of songs in there would have been good songs for some artists to cover and rearrange.
You're telling me that off the teaser album, Tommy Boland's solo, that you do Homeward Strut live.
Yeah, we do. We feature a drum solo by Ian, which is a very exciting piece. He's the best drummer in rock for me. And at the end of it, after the solo, we go into this tune from Tommy, which is called Homeward Strut.
doing a solo, I understand, after this tour's done.
Yeah, we got some time off. Tommy's going to be doing a tour to promote his album with a couple of musicians. And we got some time off before we start recording the next Purple album. So everyone's going to be involved in solo things. I've got a couple of musicians out of a band called Snafu,
Right.
you know, which I hope to be using. I want to try and get Tony Ashton and a couple of cats, you know, and because I've got some songs that are like very band Little Feat sort of things, which don't really fit into the identity of Deep Purple. And it's just something to get it off my chest, you know.
Do you figure you might slip in a cover or two on your solo?
Of other songs.
Other songs, yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of like Bobby Bland things. I'm very into blues, you know, rearrange them like update them sort of thing, you know. I'm really excited about it, you know, getting in there. See if I can do something on my own, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everything I've done so far has been under the umbrella of Purple. And I've had like the strength and experience to draw on. And hopefully I can put it to some good use, you know, for myself.
All right. I think we'll zip into another Purple tune. We were talking about the Super Bowl, and you said I maybe ought to dedicate Getting Tighter for the Steelers, who I'm rooting for today. As not much of a cowboy fan, except in the movies. Of course, I went to see Snow White yesterday, and I was rooting for the Queen.
Yeah. I went to see Sherlock Holmes last night, and I was rooting for Madeleine Kahn. Root.
tell him the story of how that came about? Was it you that suggested Tommy?
Yeah, it was just we drew up lists of guitarists we'd like to work, have a blow with, and Richie decided to call it a day. And I put Tommy on my list. I'd never knew of his connection with the James Gang. I just heard his work on Billy Cobham's album on Spectrum, which really, which blew me out, I didn't know if he was like 68 or whatever, like this stable of musicians on the East Coast. I didn't know what he looked like. But I really got off on his playing. So I got our agent in New York to find out where he was. I found out he was living about five minutes down the road from me in Malibu, So we got together and had a blow, and it was like magical. Everyone got off on it. It was ridiculous.
So it clicked, and musical history was made.
Indeed, yes.
How to identify the station is WMMR in Philadelphia. Guest is David Coverdale of Deep Purple, who are playing the Spectrum tonight. And with Nazareth, it starts around 8 o'clock. I think tickets are still there at the door.
Yeah, all the lovely ladies come down, yeah.
And it should be a real good rock and roll show. It's first real concert of the year for 76 in Philadelphia.
Yes, our bicentennial tour, yeah. 200 years of Deep Purple.
I'll buy centennial myself.
A crime that we'll hear about. To pay the cost would never be the same. Eternal lovers, we're not to blame. There's no mistake, there's no refrain. The same surroundings that stood are here again. This time, as I look around, you can't be found. To lose you, I'd rather see the endless time of space go passing by. This time around, time around. So look around, we all will be found in love. The world around us hangs in doubt. You face a crime that we'll hear about. To pay the cost would never be the same. Eternal lovers, we're not to blame. There's no mistakes, there's no refrain. The same surroundings that stood are here again. This time, as I look around, you can't be found. To lose you, I'd rather see the end